Your fish is suddenly going up and down along the glass, over and over, like it can't stop, and you don't know what it means. But you can feel that something is wrong. You're right, glass surfing isn't random. There are 6 different reasons for this behavior. Some are completely harmless, others can kill your fish. And each reason requires a different solution. Wrong diagnosis means wrong response, and the wrong response can make the problem significantly worse. But first, understand this. Reading this behavior as, "it's just being playful," or "it's an active fish," can sometimes be a serious mistake, because that fish may be under chronic stress at that very moment, and chronic stress kills quietly, so that this channel doesn't quietly die either. If you enjoy the video, a like and a subscribe for future videos would mean the world to me. Let's get into it. 1. It's fighting its own reflection. This one is both the most interesting and the most overlooked. A dark background, low ambient light, or certain lighting angles can turn the tank glass into a mirror. The fish reads its own reflection as a rival, and it keeps going back to the glass to fight that rival. It never wins, because the rival shows up at exactly the same moment every time. The tension never drops. Cortisol stays constantly elevated. This type of glass surfing has one distinguishing feature. The fish tends to focus on a specific section of the glass, always the same corner, always the same spot, because that's where the reflection is strongest. The fix is surprisingly simple. Cover the back of the tank with a light-colored background film or paint, or increase ambient light in the room. External light is what breaks the reflection. When there's more light outside the tank than inside, the glass stops acting like a mirror. Betas, cichlids, and gouramis are most prone to this reason. They have the strongest territorial reflexes. But here's the surprising part. Even after you solve the reflection problem, some fish keep going back to that same corner for a few days, because that spot has been coded in their brain as rival territory. It just needs a little time. 2. A tankmate is bullying it. Your fish is glass surfing, but the others look calm, and you're not seeing any attacks. But there's something you're not seeing. Microaggression. Pressure can be established without open fighting. No constant chasing, no biting, but the dominant fish cuts in at every feeding, claims every prime spot, controls every hiding area. The fish being pressured lives under constant stress. It's just that nobody's watching closely enough to see it. For that fish, the most logical escape route is to search for a way out along the glass. There is no way out, but the instinct keeps running. To diagnose this, do the following. Watch who goes where during feeding time. Is the fish under pressure arriving late to food, waiting in a corner, always staying in the same spot? When food hits the water and the others rush forward, is this one hanging back at a distance? If that pattern is there, a tankmate problem is likely the cause. The fix might be rearranging your decor, breaking lines of sight, disrupting the dominant fish's mental map of the tank, or separation. Sometimes species that simply cannot coexist are being forced to anyway, and that coexistence slowly wears down both of them. Which one of these matches your situation so far? Write it in the comments. 3. The tank is too small. This reason is usually the most visible and the least accepted. The fish wants to move, physically, instinctively, and the tank can't accommodate that movement. It goes from glass to glass because there's nowhere else to go. This type of glass surfing starts slowly. It's not sudden, it's gradual. It increases as the fish grows, as months pass, and it tends to peak at a specific time of day, right before feeding or when the lights first come on. There's a critical misconception to address here, the myth that fish grow to fit their tank. The fish stops growing on the outside, but internal organ development continues. When a fish whose physical growth has been stunted by a small tank has organs that keep developing normally, serious health problems follow. Kidney failure, organ compression. Glass surfing is an early warning of this process, and often the most visible warning. The tank size problem is the hardest reason to accept, because the solution feels expensive, but the health problems caused by chronic stress and the fish you lose cost far more. A practical rule: when your fish reaches its adult size, the distance from one end of the tank to the other should be at least 3 to 4 body lengths. Run that calculation. If it doesn't hold up, you've found your answer. 4. Breeding season. This reason isn't always a problem, but if your fish is glass surfing and you've ruled out the other causes, this is your final checkpoint. Some fish in breeding condition, females in particular, display intense movement along the glass while searching for a place to lay eggs. This isn't defensive or stress-related, it's hormonal, and it usually looks less panicked, less frantic, more methodical, like it's searching for something, because it is. Signs that accompany this: noticeable swelling in the abdomen, increased interaction with a male, focused attention on specific surfaces. In this case, the glass surfing passes on its own within a short time. But if breeding conditions aren't right, no suitable surface to lay eggs on, water temperature isn't ideal, no male present, or too much overall stress, the hormones don't drop and the behavior continues. Over time, that turns into genuine stress. If you have a female betta or female cichlid and you're seeing this pattern, look at the abdominal area. If there's noticeable swelling and increased interaction with a male, that's your answer. 5. Bored and understimulated. This is the most underestimated reason on the list. The question, can fish get bored, is still debated. But behavioral science is clear on this. Many animals that receive insufficient stimulation develop stereotypic behavior. Repetitive, seemingly purposeless, unstoppable movements. Zoo lions pacing back and forth along their enclosure. Captive animals in repetitive head-bobbing loops. Animals walking in circles, all for the same reason. Glass surfing can fall into this category. A bare tank, no plants, no decor, no hiding spots. The fish has nothing to explore. Days, weeks, months of the same exact view. The brain goes searching for stimulation, and the only thing it finds is the glass. The fix? Add decor. Plants, real or artificial. Objects of varying sizes. Hiding spots. Even periodically rearranging the existing decor can be enough. An unfamiliar layout sparks curiosity, and the brain reactivates. Here's an interesting observation. After decor is added, glass surfing often decreases within hours, not days. The brain begins processing the new stimulation immediately. If the change produces fast results, stimulation deprivation was the cause. But there's one reason on this list that can't wait. It can become fatal within hours. 6. Water chemistry has gone wrong. This is the most urgent reason. You need to act immediately. Ammonia is rising, nitrite is climbing, or pH is unstable. The fish feels it. You just haven't tested yet, and it's going up and down the glass in a panic. When this is the cause, glass surfing looks different from all the others. It starts suddenly. It wasn't there yesterday, it's there today. Very fast, very intense, no pauses. Other symptoms accompany it. Coming up to the surface, rapid gill movement, color fading, a sudden complete loss of interest in food. The moment you see any one of these signs, the first thing you do is test the water. Ammonia, nitrite, pH, all at once. Because this combination can progress to death within hours. If the parameters are normal, look at the other reasons. If everything looks normal but the behavior continues, check your oxygen level. Inadequate aeration produces the exact same picture. And know this, in water chemistry emergencies, fish often look fine until almost the very end. Color still vivid, movement still present, swimming style barely changed. Glass surfing is sometimes that final warning. Miss it, and the next symptom you see will be far more serious. 6 reasons. They all look alike, and it's easy to mix them up. Here are the distinguishing keys. Started suddenly. Water chemistry. Test immediately. You don't have the luxury of waiting. Focused on a specific corner or spot. Reflection. Change the background. Increase ambient light. Gradually increased over months. Tank size. Calculate the adult body length against your tank dimensions. Peaks at feeding time, and while others rush forward, this fish hangs back. Tankmate pressure. Watch feeding behavior closely. Tank is bare, decor is minimal, same layout for a long time. Stimulation deprivation. Add decor, rearrange. Everything else is normal, abdominal swelling is present, increased interaction with a male. Breeding season. Wait it out, improve the conditions. Working through them in this order saves time. Because each reason calls for a different response, and the wrong response can sometimes produce worse outcomes than doing nothing at all. Confusing water chemistry with stimulation deprivation in particular is dangerous. For the second one, you can take your time. For the first one, you can't. Your fish was going up and down along the glass. Now you know what it means. Whether it's an alarm bell, a battle with its own reflection, not enough space, being bullied, understimulation, or breeding season, each one has its own language, and being able to read that language is one of the most important skills in this hobby, because your fish is telling you something every single day, through its colors, its movements, and those moments it spends going back and forth along the glass that seem to mean nothing. But only the people who are actually listening can hear it. If you've made it this far, drop a fish emoji in the comments. I want to see who stuck around to the end. And has your fish ever glass surfed? If you know of another cause that isn't on this list, write it in the comments. In the next video, I'll be covering decoration mistakes that most people never realize are causing stress. There's some really fascinating stuff in there. If you don't want to miss it, you know what to do. See you under the water.